He's motherfucking. He's something funky. He thinks he's awesome.
Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking, coming to you with another video review. The game that I'm reviewing today is a game called Oddball Aeronauts, and this is a very small box, and this contained everything that you need to play, which is these cards that I have in my hand. Oddball Aeronauts is a two-player game where each person is against each other, and they're trying to make the other person discard all the cards in their deck, and if they can get them to do that, they win the game. Now, the way they do that is, obviously, you're playing cards, and you're basically attacking each other. I think the theme of the game is a little steampunky. I guess, I mean, that's my guess, anyway. I haven't read any, like, history, but you can see the little robots right there. And he looks very steampunky to me. But, one player, the two factions that I have, and I can only assume there'll be more factions. This is a game that is in Kickstarter right now. As you probably have seen, there's been a lot of buzz about the game lately, and I was really happy when the designer contacted me and asked me if I'd be willing to take a look at a prototype and do a review for him. And, but I can only assume there's going to be more factions, but the factions that I got were called the Pirates and the Pendragons, and I can only assume the Pendragons are kind of like the good guys, and the Pirates are, well, technically the bad guys. But, and so each person will play cards out of their deck, and using a very, very quickly determined and well, I mean, I hate to even compare it to this game because it's on the really most basic of levels. It is this game, but everybody's played War. Like you flip a card over and you just see who wins. You take the cards, that kind of thing. So you remember playing that game. This is kind of like it, but there's a ton more to it than that because you're actually making decisions. You're not just flipping a card over and seeing what happens. But anyway, this is one of those. The selling point of the game is obviously the fact that you can kind of carry it anywhere because this is the entire game right here. You have a little box, or dare I say, you could even take a rubber band and hold it all together. You can throw it in your back pocket. And you can go anywhere you want. The big thing is because you don't really need a table or anything to play with, because when you discard a card, you're not discarding it. You're taking the cards and you're flipping them and you're putting them on the back of the deck. And that's how you know when you're running out of cards, because you'll see that, like, here's, and then all of a sudden you see, oh, there's the backs of the cards there, and that means I'm running out of cards. So, but I am kind of getting into the gameplay portion, and I didn't want to do that. It's not going to take very long to explain how to play the game. The game takes about a minute to teach to anybody. I mean, there might be a question or two about some of the special abilities of the cards, but those are really easily answered as you're playing the game. But regardless, as I always do, I'm going to show you how to play, and then after that, we'll come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think about this cool little guy of a game we got here. And then, as always, somewhere along the way, maybe you'll figure out whether or not you want to purchase this game, and we'll go to the Kickstarter, I guess, and back it. And so then when it gets published, you can get a copy of your very own. So, alright, how to play Oddball Aeronauts. Oddball Aeronauts. This is the, like, three types of cards that I have with my prototype. There's two faction decks of 24 cards each. This is the Pendragons, this is the Pirates, and there are these event cards. And there are 6 event cards. So when you start the game, what you do is you shuffle up the event cards, and just so you can see what the event cards do. I mean, they're just like things that, like, bad things that can happen. And when you're going to show the cards, like, ooh, a spook attack, or the Kraken. And of course, like, as I always say, this is a Kickstarter game, so it's a prototype, which means that what you see in front of you may or may not be indicative of what the final game will look like. But anyway, so like the special cards, you'll play them if they're in your top 3 cards. I'll explain that in just a moment. But the event just kind of tells you something. So like the Kraken, whoever has the lowest, and this is cannons, discards a card, and the special one, that tells you what phase of the game that occurs in. And so phase 1 is actually like the first phase. Each hand, each one has 5 phases. So that's what that is. So we're going to take these 3, we're going to shuffle them up a little bit here, and we'll just go like that, and we will go ahead and shuffle these decks, because you don't want like the three special cards like right next to each other or anything like that. And actually, I don't know if I'll show you my shuffling technique or anything. Maybe through the magic of video editing, you won't get to see this. Ta-da! It's magic. All right, so here we are. We set up our decks. We got everything shuffled in. Each player is going to take their deck and they're going to look at it. And the first thing you do is each person rock, paper, scissors to see who the lead player is going to be. And whoever loses rock, paper, scissors then it has to be the lead player. And being the lead player kind of stinks, because the lead player, you're kind of giving information because you're the one who has to announce which skill you're going to use first. But anyway, so you go rock, paper, scissors, and remember, or whatever, you know how to play rock, paper, scissors. No dynamite, no volcano, or whatever other crazy things my daughter comes up with when we play. But remember, rock. Nothing beats rock. But anyway, so we're going to say the Pendragon lost. And so you take your deck of cards and you take a look at it, and you're going to have your top card. And this is the card that you have to play. It's the card that the stats, the 4, 6, 5, are the ones you're going to use. You're not going to use the bonuses. Now, however, the next two cards, you get to use their bonuses. So this one's +1, +2, +3, +2, +2, +2 across the board. Now, before you do anything, there's something you have to be very careful and take a look at. And look at the special that's on the top card, because that's the card that you get to use, and that's the special you get to use. So this is the Gun Marshal, and it says use a special of any played card. Well, okay, let's look at the other specials then, because if we play all 3 cards, because you can play up to 3 cards, you can use other specials. So this particular special, it happens in round 4, or phase 4 of the round, which is the determining victory. And this one gives me a +2 boarding, which is the swords here, +2 boarding versus sailing and cannons. So if the other person picks either of those, then we would get a +2 against that. And then this one says next round, choose the opponent's skill. Well, that's pretty nice. You get to tell them what to do. Maybe we want to hold on to that one, and we can play that next round, because then that would be the first card we play, and we get to choose the opponent's skill the next time, and that would be pretty helpful. And you notice you're allowed to go through the entire deck if you want to and look. And so it's always nice to kind of look ahead, see what kind of cards, see what things are going to hook together and things like that. It's always a good idea to look ahead, and so you can formulate not only what you're going to do this round, but how this round is going to affect the next round, and so on and so forth. So I think that's what we're probably going to do. We're going to declare boarding, and then we're going to use the next card. And I know we could use that one, but I mean, this one's only +2, and we're kind of just only taking half of that ability, but whereas we can start with a 4 there. And we got, this one's a good support one, so I think next turn we'll probably play 3, but this turn we'll play 2. And we're going to take boarding, and then we're going to take 5 + 3, that gives 8, and then we're going to hope that the opponent takes sailing or cannons, and then we'll be able to use that extra bonus +2. So we'll put that down. And obviously, these cards aren't seen by the other player. They don't know exactly what you're going to play. But the pirate player has the advantage now, because they know they're going to be facing boarding when we flip cards over. And so we're going to look, and here we have breakers. Okay, they have 4, 3, and 5. Boarding 5, that's good, right? And a special next round, opponent can only play 2 cards. So that's a pretty good special, actually. So it's a good deal. We're going to play that one. All right, so and here we have, this special is +3 defense versus boarding or sailing, if we choose to use cannons. And so we go 3 + 3 would be 6. And then, but if we lost, we get an extra +3, and that would get us up to 9. But that person's going boarding. So if we went 5 and 4, that's 9. 5 and 2, that's 7. But oh my gosh, we got a captain in here. So, and wow, another +5. So I mean, even though you have to discard every single card you use, this might be something we're going to do, where we're going to have to go ahead and say boarding as well, because I mean, unless we can find out, no, 4 plus 1 plus 5. Well, I mean, any of them is plus 5, but I mean, the biggest total we're going to get is 3 plus 2 plus 5, like that. And so we're going to get 9 out of that one. And then the next round, we'd have them on the ropes, because they can only play 2 cards maximum. We could play another 3 if we wanted to. But yeah, as always, though, whenever you're discarding cards, you're kind of weakening yourself because you're running out of cards. So, alright, so as Pirates, we're going to say boarding too. So, they announce at the same time, and they say boarding. And which is not what we wanted to hear if you were the Pendragon player, because you wanted them to pick one of the other two because you got that bonus. But now you can decide. Maybe you want to play that extra card, and so, we were planning on, playing only 2 and gambling on then getting that +2, but now we might have to play 3. So now what happens is the lead player, which is the Pendragon player, will say, all right, 1, 2, 3, go, and then people will show a 1 or a 2 or a 3. Telling you how many cards they're going to play. So in this case, both players are going to say 3. And so we turn over the top 3 cards. And I'll just kind of put them down here just so we can see them. And so we have a total of 3 plus 2, 5 plus 5, 10, which is a ton. And then we have these 3, and we go 5 plus 3 plus 2, 5, 10. Well, that wasn't all that exciting. We totally had a draw. And so what happens when you have a draw is nobody gets to affect anybody, or like none of the effects of the combat actually come into play. And then both players take all those cards that they used and they tuck them away, as I showed before. They take them and they tuck them away like this behind to show they've used those cards. And so you can see them right there. And we're going to have to do the same thing as well. Now, of course, we had those special effects. So, the one special effect that we had with the borders was that we get to choose the opponent's skill next round, like so. And the special effect of they can only play 2 cards. So, we have the Pendragons. They can only play 2 cards, and they remain the lead player because it was a draw. If normally what happens is whoever won is the lead player the next round. And so, lead player is once again the Pendragons. And so, on next round, we get to choose, because this is the special, next round we choose the opponent's skill. So that's something to keep in mind. And like, we got that the last time, remember, because of the fact. So we get to choose the opponent's skill in this turn. So, and we only got to play 2 cards. So, looking at the next card, cannons are pretty good. Yeah, we're just going to do that. We're going to go ahead and take the 4, say cannons. Here's 5, so we're going to have 9. And remember, we get to choose the opponent's skill. Now, normally what we would have hoped is like we'd have another support card that would have allowed us to like get another bonus from whatever. But we're going to just hope that the other player, doesn't we're gonna kind of almost just hope that we pick the right one. And so since let's just say they get to, we're gonna say they have to take sail. So we look at the next we have a 3 for sail for the red pearl, and the breakers are another +2. That would be 5. And then another +3 would be 8. And special is I get to recover 2 cards. So that means I get to take 2 out of my discard. So I'm going to play all 3 because I don't really like the fact that I've only got 8. So once again, we know they're playing 2. They say 3. And then we turn them over again, like so. And I'm not going to show every single round. This is the last time I'm going to. So those of you who are who have caught on how to play, just bear with me here. So we have a 3 + 2 + 3 is 8, and then we have a 4. We have a 4 + 5 is 9. So Pendragons win, and so they defeat it. So the first thing we do is we discard the cards that we used, like so. We discard. Remember, we get to recover 2 cards from this particular one, so we get that ability, and so we do like that. And now, when you win, when you win with cannons, the cannon effect is the other person has to discard 2 cards. And so we'll discard 2 cards. And there was an event too. We're going to have to discard it though. The spook attack. But, the spook attack. But we're going to discard those 2 like so. And then, then the other player now has to, they get to do their special, which was recover 2 cards. So when you recover, you take the top 2, like so, and you flip the top 2 like that, and you put them back into your hand. And so, like, we may have had to discard 2 extra ones, but luckily we had that other card, and we recover the 2 and put it like that. Now, if you win with sails against the other player, you get to recover 2 cards. So you win, but you don't do any more damage to the person, but you get to recover. So since you're always discarding cards, you're gaining some back. And if you win with a board, the other person has to discard an extra card, and you get to recover a card. So it's kind of like the middle of the 2 grounds. And gameplay just continues on like that as the game progresses, and until finally one person will eventually, start running out of cards, until they end up having to discard all of their cards, and they don't have any cards left to play, and then at that point they have lost a game of Oddball Aeronauts. So, well, there you go. That's how you play Oddball Aeronauts. Let me tell you exactly what I think about the game starting right now. That may have been one of the quicker gameplay portions of a video I've ever done, but I'm not going to try to skimp at all. I mean, actually, when I saw this game and how tiny it was, I was like, wow, I might actually get a video underneath 20 minutes, so I might pull that off, which would be a rarity for the Undead Viking. But anyway, so there you go, how to play. Now, I mean, the game kind of speaks for itself as far as whether or not it's going to be something that appeals to you. I think anybody who likes a 2-player game is going to want to have this just for, well, any reason. I mean, like, you go to a restaurant and you order your food, and now you're waiting 10 minutes for the food to show up. Play this game. You waiting for the big game to be finished over there, and so you can play the big game that you have set up here, and there's 2 of you. Play this game. You just want to goof around on a lunch break with your buddy, play this game. Stuff like that. I mean, it's just it's the portability of the game, and also the ease of the rules, and just the fact that you don't need a playing surface is like the big catch. And that in and of itself, would probably sell a lot of games, a lot of copies of this game actually. But just the cleverness of the design, I guess, in that case. But there's a lot of game here, and there's a lot of different really cool decisions that you have to make. And there's 2 parts that I found when I played this game. Now, I've played it several times, and I made my wife play it probably more times than she wanted to, and because she wanted to, like, cook dinner and stuff. No, let's play this game one more time. But no, as with any game, when you first start playing it, you have that discovery time where you're just like, oh, what does this card do? Oh, how does that work? And, oh, what should I do? And you're trying to figure out strategies and things like that. And then as you play the game and you get to that 3rd or 4th time, you start figuring out the combinations. You start figuring out, you start looking further back into the deck, and so you can see what cards are coming up, and then you can kind of look at those, and then you have those play off what you're going to do now, and like setting yourself up, for maybe giving up a small loss right now to, get a bigger win later, and things like that. And you start formulating strategies. And then even later still is when the game kind of like, especially if your opponent, is like kind of the same level as you, as far as the understanding of the game, then that's when the mind games start playing, and you start thinking, okay, what are they going to pick? What are they going to choose? Do I need to use all 3 cards this time? Can I get by with 1? Can I get by with 2? Things like that. And you start actually trying to outthink the other person, and then they're outthinking, you're outthinking, and you're outthinking, they're outthinking that you're outthinking, and so on and so forth. And that's when the fun really started for me, and my wife for that matter, was when, you know, like, we had that kind of, like, you know, the whole, you know, when you're 1, 2, and you put down how many cards you're going to play and things like that. That's when the game really started opening up and really started surprising us with all the different levels of the depth that it had, and very surprising for when you only have a deck of 24 cards, and the game only lasts maybe 15 minutes tops. You know, just how deep the game was. And I've always said, and if you've watched these videos that I've done, I've always said I am, you know, and I don't take this the wrong way to people who make really big, deep, thousands of pieces, hundreds of rules types games. Those are awesome and I love playing them, but it takes a special designer to be able to make a simple game have a lot of resonance and a lot of depth to it, and that always goes a long way towards impressing me. Now, you know, I mean, it should be pretty obvious what this game, who is going to appeal to. People that are 2-player game players, and it's going to appeal to you, obviously, because that's it. If you have a spouse, a girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, that is a game player, and you just want to have something fun that you can play in those little times, you know, this is something you're going to want to pick up. If you just kind of dig adversarial card games, I think this is a game you're going to want to buy. And plus, if I remember correctly, the price point to purchase this one wasn't that high at all. I mean, I don't have the Kickstarter information right in front of me right now, but and like I said, it's in my opinion, the price that they have for it is downright a steal for the amount of game that you're getting out of this one. So I mean, usually at this point, this is when I say, here's like my one little thing that I didn't like, or here's this one little tiny bit that didn't sit well with me or something like that. And I just don't have any of that for right now. I mean, I'm not a huge 2-player game player, and I'm not a huge smaller game player. I mean, I'm not a big filler type of game person that I play that, just because I tend to have very structured game time when I play, and when I have friends over, I need this person, and this person, because we're going to be playing this 4-person game for 4 hours. And so the filler or the small little 2-player games usually don't get a lot of play. But I guess so that's the biggest compliment I can give the game, is the fact that, because of the fact that I have desperately wanted to play this, and I've annoyed my wife incessantly with making her play it with me, speaks volumes about just how awesome this little tiny game is. So there you go. Oddball Aeronauts. It's in Kickstarter right now. I think there's still a fair amount of time left on it as well. Go ahead and check out that page. I'll have the link down below. You can go ahead and click on it. If you have any questions about the game in general or specifically or anything like that, post those and I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. And I'm sure Nigel, the designer, will be more than happy to step in and answer those as well, if for whatever reason I'm not able to give a satisfactory response, I suppose. So, as always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this little thing that I do. Until the next time that you click on one of my videos and we have this wonderful little conversation, you have yourself one heck of a day. Alright, well, this is Undead Viking, and you take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.